We are going to spin the wheel to see what chapter of the little book of the ancients I'm going to read. Here we go. It's going to be chapter 9. First, I'm going to introduce my book. Thanks for watching. The Little Book of the Ancients. Volume 1. The author, R. Percival. Published on October 28, 2023. This is the story of the ancients. Chapter 9. The Visitors. When the moon arrived and started orbiting the Earth. The moon was at a greater distance away from the Earth than it is today. The Earth was a lot more humid. The ocean's tides were a lot smaller also. The Anunnaki that made it back to our solar system after the Great Crossover took up residence in the moons of our solar system. Earth's moon isn't really hollow. It's more like a honeycomb structure. It is unknown at this time if the moon was put there, or was caught by the Earth's gravity. Like with other things, maybe there'll be some enlightenment later. At this time in our two solar systems, there was a total of 8 Anunnaki of the third root race and the fourth root race of the Anunnaki. The Atlanteans only had one root race, and it was the fourth root race. Also with the Lemurians, the fourth root race was the only one to survive the Great Destruction. Somehow the Atlanteans had direct contact with at least 2 types of beings. They were from 2 different solar systems. Neither one of these beings knew of the other. But they were from somewhere near the galactic center of the Milky Way. The Pleiadians seeded their solar system a few million years before ours. These beings had the ability for interstellar travel, which are ships that can travel pretty much throughout a galaxy. The Aquaticans were the first interstellar beings to travel to our solar system. In their solar system they had a blue star. The Aquaticans found the Earth's atmosphere difficult to breathe. They could breathe our atmosphere, but they found it challenging for long periods. When they arrived, it was shocking to the beings that lived in our solar system. Their ships were huge. They came with 3 ships. 2 of the ships were parked in orbit around Venus. The other one was parked in orbit around Earth. They say it was so large that it took up half the sky. And the 2 ships that were in Venus's orbit had to be on opposite sides of Venus, so it would not interrupt the orbit of Venus around the Sun. They spoke with the Atlanteans, Lemurians, and the Anunnaki. At this time nothing has been revealed about what they spoke about. But a short time later 3 large ships entered the atmosphere. They were twice as large as some of the cities today, somewhere between 30 to 50 miles across. One of them landed in Antarctica, and the other 2 submerged into the depths of the ocean. Shortly after that the 2 ships around Venus, and the one that was in Earth's orbit, went out between the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud, and stayed for a time. And then one day all 3 of them were gone. But the 3 that were on Earth stayed. They claimed to be explorers of the Milky Way galaxy. They said before they visited our solar system, they visited Little Sister's solar system. It isn't known today what kind of exploring they were doing, but they didn't seem to be malevolent. Some say they're the Watchers of old. The unknowns arrived while the Aquaticans were in the outer solar system. The unknowns visited with the 3 sets of beings, just like the Aquaticans. They had 5 large ships, about the size of the ones that Aquaticans put on Earth. Each one of the main ships had thousands of smaller ships following it. They seemed to get along with the Anunnaki the best. The unknowns didn't really spend much time on the Earth. The smaller ships went all over our solar system. It was presumed that they were gathering information. The larger ships and a lot of the smaller ships spent most of their time around the moon. They gave the Anunnaki a lot of information and some of their technology. While they were here they helped the Anunnaki build structures on the surface of the moon. The Anunnaki seemed to do more than accommodate the unknowns. Some of the information that the unknowns gave to the Anunnaki, with how their government worked. They were the first in our solar system to create a government. Shortly after that the Anunnaki set up a ruling class. In some ways the Anunnaki government resembles the governments of today. Like putting themselves in God's status. Ruling over other beings. By creating armies and military. Making currency and controlling it. creating civilizations that are dependent on this currency, and forcing them to turn away from the ancient practices. That's a simple description, you get the point. The Anunnaki learned how to manipulate DNA. The unknowns gave the Anunnaki some of the offspring they created for slaves. These beings are called Straxlian, and showed them how to do it. When the unknowns created their offspring for the Anunnaki, the Straxlian males were designed sterile. They are also known as the Greys. They were part of the unknown's sixth root race. When they left our solar system, they say they were headed for Little Sister's solar system. I hope you have a magnificent day, my friends.